Chapter 63. Joseph reveals himself. Genesis 45, 1-28. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph, doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years, in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve your posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith my son Joseph, God hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee. For yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household, and all that thou hast, come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them, and after that his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, This do ye, lead your beasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. And take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye, take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones, and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner, 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she-asses laden with corn and bread, and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan, unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. They told him all the words of Joseph which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. Genesis 45, 1-28. Because history is the word of the sovereign and predestinating God, it sometimes gives us the clearest theology. To separate theology and life is to posit a random and meaningless creation, a junk heap cosmos. Theology is essentially related to history because both find their true meaning in the triune God and his sovereign work and decree. The Bible itself is witness to this unity, and it gives us no clearly demarcated theology nor a history separated from God's plan. Attempts to separate history and theology are not Christian. This unity is clearly apparent in the life of Joseph. Genesis gives us history and theology. The sovereign plan of God is opened up to us with a powerful emotional impact. How can anyone read this account without sharing Joseph's faith and tears? I have never been able to do so from childhood to the present. The 10 brothers had sold Joseph into slavery. Now they had an opportunity to eliminate Rachel's surviving son Benjamin by leaving him in Egypt as a slave. Instead, they reacted with horror at the thought of it. This was enough to convince Joseph that his brothers had changed. Joseph, deeply moved, ordered all to leave the room save his brothers. He could not refrain from weeping aloud. Men of his household, being essentially Pharaoh's men, quickly reported to Pharaoh what was happening. Verse 1 following. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live?" All that the 10 brothers had said indicated that Jacob was alive, and the horror of hurting him further governed them. Joseph knew this, but he had to ask. His love of his father was very great. His brothers were troubled or terrified to know that the Prime Minister was Joseph. Verse 3. What they had seen of the Prime Minister thus far indicated a deeply suspicious man who had put them through serious trials, and they were very much afraid. Joseph recognized this. He asked them to come closer, something normally not allowed, for as Prime Minister, he was almost unapproachable. Again he said, "I am Joseph, your brother," adding, in case they had any doubt, "whom ye sold into Egypt." Verse 4. Then, in verses 5 to 8, Joseph speaks to them of the meaning of all that had happened. He sets aside the horrors of his enslavement and of their evil to urge them, "Now therefore, be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you sold me hither." Their sin was real and his sufferings great, but a higher power and purpose was at work. God's purpose was to preserve life. Verse 5. Theirs and others. There had been 2 years of famine, with 5 more to come, during which there will be neither planting nor harvesting. Verse 6. God, said Joseph, sent me before you to preserve a posterity in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. Verse 7. Joseph used his life and his sufferings theologically, not personally. Few would have had more justification for stressing the personal aspect, his suffering and grief, than Joseph, but he saw all things in terms of God and his purpose. He now urges his brothers to do the same. It was not they, but God who sent him to Egypt and made him great there to save them all. Verse 8. God used their sin to bring forth good. This did not acquit them of evil, but it did set forth God's providence. Then Joseph urged them to hurry back, tell their father everything, and return to Egypt with all their possessions. Verse 9. Joseph already had in mind an area for them to settle in, Goshen. We do not know where Goshen was specifically. According to Derek Kidner, it was near Tanis in the eastern part of the Nile Delta. Joseph urges them to move to Egypt to avoid extreme poverty. Verse 10 following. The brothers were in shock. Was this indeed Joseph? Look at me, he asked, and at your brother Benjamin, and recognize me. Verse 12. Tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and make haste to bring him here. Verse 13. Joseph with tears said goodbye to his brothers. Verse 14 following. Meanwhile, Joseph's servants had reported the reunion to Pharaoh, who summoned Joseph and gave him Egyptian wagons to use in transporting the family and its possessions to Egypt. Verses 16 to 20. The Asiatic fashion in travel was for men to ride on donkeys and for women to travel on foot. In Canaan, the donkey was the preferred mode of transport. Pharaoh intended that Joseph's family come in as Egyptians with status. Joseph, before his brothers left, gave them full provisions for their journey, a change of raiment for each man, 5 changes to Benjamin, plus 300 pieces of silver, and to his father 10 asses with various luxury items, and 10 she-asses laden with food. Verses 21 to 23. As they left, Joseph warned them, See that ye fall not out by the way. Verse 24. He knew their sense of guilt, that they might try to blame one another as the major guilty party. They arrived at Canaan and at their father's house to tell them, "Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt." But Jacob could not at first believe this. He had grown so accustomed to grief. Verses 25 and 26. They told him of all that Joseph had said, and no doubt of what they had done to him. They showed him Pharaoh's wagons and Joseph's gifts. Then Jacob revived. He is, in verse 28, again called Israel, a prince with God. He sees God's hand and design in all this. Instead of anger at the 10 brothers, he says simply, "It is enough. Joseph, my son, is alive. I will go and see him before I die." Verses 27 and 28. Jacob made no attempt to rebuke his sons. Events had sufficiently rebuked them, and God had dealt with them in his own way. Auckler observed of all this, quote, "Man's sin cannot thwart the divine purpose of salvation. It must rather serve to the realization thereof." End quote. Predestination and providence are not abstract doctrines. They are more relevant to our daily lives than anything else because in them lies the direction and meaning of our lives. Joseph was no stoic in all his sufferings. His tears and grief tell us how intensely he felt. But Joseph was not governed by his feelings, but rather by God's will. He was truly himself also a prince with God.